Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a seriously powerful topic, mastering the inner storm. We've all been there, right? That sudden, overwhelming wave of frustration where your rational brain literally just clocks out and absolute chaos takes the wheel. Well, this Explainer is all about transforming that exact moment of chaos into deliberate, grounded self-management. Let's get right into the details. So, what actually goes through your head during an emotional breakdown? Yeah, it's a pretty heavy question. Our source material doesn't tiptoe around the issue at all. It grabs us right by the collar. It forces us to immediately connect to that visceral, often super messy experience of the storm. I want you to take a second and actually think about your last moment of emotional overload. Was your mind racing a million miles an hour, or was it just completely blank? Asking this is absolutely crucial because it's the foundational starting point of our entire journey today. You simply cannot manage what you don't first acknowledge. Now notice the phrase, mastering the inner storm. That wording is incredibly intentional. Think about it. A storm has uncontrollable energy, right? It's chaotic and it can throw you completely off course. But when you pair it with the word mastering, it instantly shifts the whole narrative. It's not about trying to stop the rain from falling, because you can't. It's about learning how to sail your ship when the water gets rough. It moves us from feeling totally powerless straight into a mindset of active empowerment. All right, let's break this down. Section 1, Anatomy of a Breakdown. You know, a lot of people think self-management means never getting upset or just pasting a fake smile on your face and pretending everything is totally fine. But according to the text, it is so much more than some rigid rule book. It defines self-management as the active process of learning your internal thoughts during a breakdown and exploring personalized regulating techniques. It's basically the process of catching a thought like, I'm completely failing at this, mid-flight, and figuring out exactly how to regulate it. It actually gives you permission to be a curious investigator of your own mind, rather than a harsh critic. And that means the very first step in this whole process demands intense self-awareness. You have to learn exactly what is going through your head during an emotional breakdown. It doesn't ask you to suppress those thoughts or to judge them. You just have to slow down the tape. When the storm is raging, what's the actual narrative playing out in your brain? Are you catastrophizing? Are you getting defensive? You really can't redirect a runaway train if you don't even know what tracks it's on, right? So identifying that internal script is where the real work begins. Moving right along to Section 2, Exploring Self-Control. What we see here is a really fascinating core duality. On one hand, you've got the visceral, totally unavoidable experience of losing control. That is the storm itself, packed with all those chaotic internal thoughts we just talked about. And right across from that, you have self-control, which is driven by regulating techniques. The whole goal of this detailed explainer is to show you how to build a solid, reliable cognitive bridge between these two states. It beautifully contrasts the automatic, knee-jerk reaction of a breakdown with a highly intentional, active exploration of self-control. Which brings us nicely to Section 3, Personalized Regulating Techniques. Our source material condenses this whole complex cognitive bridge into a really clear three-step journey. Step 1, learn your internal thoughts. Basically, you become the observer of your own breakdown. Step 2, explore self-control. This is where you start recognizing that you actually have the agency to shift your emotional state. And finally, Step 3, find regulating techniques that actually work for you. Because let's be totally honest here, when you're in the middle of a massive meltdown, someone telling you to just take a deep breath usually just makes things 100 times worse. This is about finding truly functional tools, not just empty platitudes. I'd argue the most vital piece of information we're looking at is right there in those two words, work best. The source explicitly emphasizes personalization. It reinforces that true self-management is absolutely not about copying someone else's coping mechanisms. Like, deep breathing might be an absolute lifeline for your best friend, but maybe you need to go for a brisk walk, splash freezing cold water on your face, or aggressively journal for 5 minutes just to get back to baseline. It is entirely about discovering the specific, unique tools that serve as your personal anchors in the storm. So I'll leave you with this question. When you face your next inner storm, which regulating techniques will work best for you? Because honestly, it's not a matter of if the next storm will hit, but simply a matter of when. So don't wait for the rain to start pouring. The source material leaves us with this incredible challenge to do the work beforehand. Start paying attention to your internal monologue today. Build up your personalized toolkit right now, so when those winds start howling, you know exactly how to drop your anchor. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there and find your techniques.